Hi, everybody. I'm Pete Krupski, the voice of USA Hockey's National Team Development Program. You're watching CTV Sports. Coming up next on CTV, it's the Sports Guys with our good friends Steve, Chuck, and Rod. Don't miss it.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Guys on Monday, March 24th, 2025, for the week of March 24th. I'm your host, Christian Gibbons, along with Steve Bainey, Chuck Hiller,
Good day.
Rod Calgren. We are all bleary-eyed from watching that Michigan State game last night. We were there for the whole. We were watching the whole game. Michigan State did not show up until the second half. But they did come out on top, as did Michigan. They're both moving on to the Sweet 16, and we'll get into the brackets in just a minute. But first, I want to get into some of our other local sports scores. So Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon rather, Vegas beat the Wings 6-3. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Red Wings probably aren't making the playoffs again this year. They will play tonight on Monday at 9 o'clock in Utah in Salt Lake City. And then they play Tuesday against Colorado at 9 o'clock. And then they play Thursday. So 3 games this week.
Oh, my God.
And the Thursday game against Ottawa will be here at Little Caesars Arena. And then on Saturday, they are the primetime game on ABC, so you can watch that one in your apartment. They'll take on the Bruins from Boston at 8 o'clock on
There have
ABC.
been several letters to the editor wondering how long Eiserman is going to
Yeah.
stay around.
His seat's getting a little lukewarm, I will give you that. So.
I tell you, he definitely got a buffer zone, so I think
Yeah,
he's all right for a while.
Well, he's certainly one of the Detroit favorites.
Right.
But at
Right.
some point,
Yeah.
I mean, not to age myself, but kids younger than me don't remember that we went on
That's right.
a streak of making the playoffs. So for them, this is just hockey. Going to a game is an excuse to drink and be merry with your friends. When kids my age, it's like, what are we doing here?
Kind of like the Lions. I mean, a lot of people never even
Right.
saw the Lions in
Yeah.
a playoff game.
Right. And, kids born 10 years ago are like, this is normal.
Right.
No, it's really not.
No.
Don't get used to it either. Moving on to, before we get into college basketball, we'll talk NBA really quick. Yesterday on Sunday, the Pelicans lost to the Pistons 136-130. So apparently it was me breaking into the gym.
Yeah, that was it. You got their play.
Tuesday
Every little bit helps.
on March 25th, they'll take on San Antonio. That game's at 7 p.m. And then they play again on Friday against Cleveland. And then moving over to baseball really quick, the Tigers are wrapping up spring training this week. We got opening game on Thursday night over in the St. Clair Clubhouse. Come join us for the party. But the Tigers will play their last couple of spring training games in San Francisco tonight at 9:45. That game only being televised in San Francisco, so good luck watching that. And then 8 o'clock on Tuesday, they will play at San Francisco against the Giants one more time. And then, like we said, Thursday, opening game on ESPN against the Dodgers. In prime time, you can head over to St. Clair. Kristen and I will have snacks and pop and all the fun stuff and a big screen to kick off the season for our Tigers. And then opening day is next week. I forget the exact day, but I will be there, and then I will be back to report on all the fun times we had.
Are there any surprises on the lineup?
Not that I've seen. And also,
I mean, I've seen them on Facebook, and you can't trust. You tell me,
yeah,
don't
you
trust
can't
them.
trust Facebook, but no real surprises. We've had a couple of injuries in spring training,
Yeah,
but
McKinstry, right?
McKinstry, but Gleyber Torres should be in the lineup. Jackson Jobe is doing fairly well in the pitching department, so we look forward to next week having a recap of our first couple of Tigers games already this year. So we are moving into spring, and when you get to spring, you know what that means. It means the madness is underway, and this weekend was madness.
It was
Oh,
crazy.
boy, was it.
So I remember last week you saw us fill out our brackets. I'm just going to quickly go over mine because my Final Four is garbage. I had St. John's going to the Final Four. They got wrecked by Arkansas. I have MSU winning it all, so that's still alive. And I have Duke playing them in the national championship game, so we're still alive for that. So what do we think of the games this weekend, gentlemen? Maryland with that stunning buzzer beater
Yeah.
yesterday afternoon. Michigan and Michigan State both moving on. It's been a good few days of basketball.
Yeah, well, like I say, the thing is both Michigan and Michigan State, I mean, they didn't play till the second half. And Michigan outscored Texas A&M 30-12 in the second half with 9 minutes to go. Otherwise, they would have lost the game. They finally woke up. And like I say, if they do that against Auburn on Friday,
They're
it's
done.
like they are toast. You ain't coming back because Auburn's the biggest gun in the.
You know, I wonder what cooked Wolverine smells like.
No
Cute,
doubt,
cute,
no doubt.
cute.
But like I say, Michigan State did the same thing. They were playing New Mexico, and like
All
I say,
of a
they
sudden,
kind of
boom.
struggled through the first half and finally got it together a little bit. And like I say, Friday they'll play Ole Miss. So,
And
yeah,
the
so it's
SEC 's
interesting.
on
Like I
fire
say,
this year.
Big Ten's got 4 teams left
Wow.
in the Sweet 16, and the SEC got 6 teams left.
I thought they were a football conference.
You
What
know?
happened
Well,
to that?
Like, where did all
Last
this
week we
basketball?
found
When they
that
joined
out.
other conferences, there's a couple of guys came in that weren't there before. You know, kind of like UCLA and
Yeah.
USC. They kind of bumped our numbers up a little bit. So
And Texas A&M is an okay basketball school, so that kind of helps the SEC
Yeah.
a little bit too. But
yeah, and then they had all the girls stuff going on. That was pretty amazing.
yeah, Michigan Wolverines lost to Notre Dame over the weekend. Michigan State plays today. If you're watching this, I guess actually if you're watching this, they've already played, but they play today at noon. So next week we'll have a wrap up of the women's tournament, at least what's gone on so far. But yeah, Michigan State looked pretty good. Michigan looked pretty good in the regular season as far as the women's game was concerned. So it was a little shocking. They lost as big as they did to Notre Dame, although Notre Dame is a perennial power.
Well, the ladies had 6 teams that scored plus over 100 points
Wow.
in a round of 64.
Wow. That
So
has
it was
to be a
like the
record.
halves and the have-nots.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
It was kind of interesting how low some of the scores were.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of them as just running up points like crazy,
Oh, no.
and the total points up pushing 200. My gosh, they're pushing 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. and
Yeah.
it-
See,
Like I
they
say, the
take
girls'
time out
game
to
was
put their
exceptional.
makeup on
Yeah.
at halftime. So
Like I say, the guys hit it every once in a while, but the
2025,
girls
Chuck.
got
It's
6.
not all
Wow.
about that. But,
For
you know,
sure.
just seeing, covering a women's team, even though they're not very, well, I shouldn't say they're not very good. They're pretty good. Covering U of D women's basketball all season, you're right. The games seem to be lower scoring, but for some reason in the tournament, either they stop playing defense because they're so hyped up, and I don't know what the change is, but you're right. It seems the last few years, as soon as we hit March, the
up
scoring,
things go.
the offense just hits a rocket and shoots through the roof, and I would love to figure out why.
There you go.
A lot of people love to figure it out.
Yeah, 'cause
The,
USC got
Clark
Mississippi
girl
State
from
tonight.
Iowa was the one that really got the women
Oh, Clark?
uh,
Yeah.
a lot of notice, and
Yeah.
Oh, it's been coming on.
oh yeah.
It's been coming on for years.
But the
when
way she was shooting, I
yeah,
mean,
when
my God.
UConn had all the championship teams with
Oh, heck yeah.
yeah, with any number
And
of
I've
different
got
players.
I've got a story on her coming up, but we'll let Steve finish out our college report.
There you go. Yeah, not a whole lot left. USC's got Mississippi State tonight, and then UCLA has Ole Miss in the Sweet 16 next Friday, And like I say, Michigan State also has Ole Miss on Friday, so it'll be interesting. Like I say, the Pistons are 40-32, still number 6. And like I say, one of the funny ones was LeBron James came back from the Lakers and proceeded to lose to the Bulls 146 to 115.
Talk about offense.
Yeah, man, that was about it. And something on the outside looking in, we had the Canadian team, soccer team, beat the U.S. 2-1.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Well, was that 25% more goals?
I
or
think so. Yeah.
With the tariffs, I didn't know.
Got to have
Yeah,
something to do with the
that's
tariff,
right.
you know.
The Canadian teams being taxed for all
I hope they
this?
found all that's got to say. I hope they found a warm place to play it, man. It's like
Yeah, the frozen tundra of Saskatchewan or wherever they play it. I don't know.
yeah, something up there. Ooh.
All right, Chuck, real quick, motorsports news.
Motorsports. We were down at Homestead in Miami, which is a nice 1.5 mile track, slightly narrow, but an unusual thing there. The surface itself lends itself to being a wishy-wishy all the time. In order to win, a crazy thing has got to be, you've got to be at the very top, and you've got to be within 1 or 2 inches of the top. Imagine racing 170 miles an hour on a track, and at the third turn, I mean, you're really cranking it. And it's fun to see all the tire marks on the outside as they did it. Now, the guy who won, Larson, he almost had a triple threat there. He won with the trucks on Friday night. Saturday night, he was way ahead. But some strange thing happened, and one of his wheels wouldn't drop down. They think it's the suspension underneath. Something happened, and he lost the race. Yesterday, he won quite readily. And remember that I keep telling you, 1 inch from the top of the thing, if you go that little bit. And because of the way the track is made, they do swing out all the time. It is the wildest thing in the world. No big accidents. You know where all the fun was? In the pits. They had 2 or 3 accidents in the pits for the first time that they've ever had. And Ford is starting to see something that they don't like. Their engines are blowing up at about 300 miles. And I mean, when they blow up good. It's good
Catastrophic.
smoke, good fire underneath, too. It really is a good TV picture. You know what I mean?
There you go.
People will stay for that. Now, to go back to the main worry there, it was so bad, a fire started outside of the track. And I thought, oh, a little fire, they could put it out. 2, 3, 4 days, they couldn't put it out. The blimp last night showed the area that was burned. It was the size of East Dearborn. It was not a small fire. And there was still, at times, they could not even shoot from the blimp because of the smoke, which is still showing. But anyway, a fine race, nobody injured, no fights. So I guess it kind
What
of
kind of sport is that?
thing,
Don't have any
No
fights.
fights.
hockey. Go back to hockey. Anyway, so it was a fine time. Next, they're coming out to the Virginia area, North Carolina, Virginia area for a smaller racetrack, which means a different car and different conditions. Stay tuned next week.
There you
So,
go.
real quick question. So last week they were talking about power steering being a big issue this year in the next gen car. With you talking about the turns that they were having trouble with, did they have any of the power steering issues like they had last week?
Not. Their trouble this time is trying to keep that car up to the top, which is just, it's the longest way around.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you're talking that speed in 2 inches, they're crazy. They're crazy.
I wonder
For
how much
206
further it is when they ride right near the right edge versus riding right down near the.
Yeah. It depends on the track, but
Right.
yeah.
I mean, are you talking 200 or 300 yards or?
Man, that would be interesting. I'll have to see if I can find a sports scientist.
I was going to say
Yeah,
170 miles an hour,
mathematicians
whatever it is, they're
working
covering
on
it
it.
fast.
So the Coke 4 or the Cookout, not the Coke 400, the Cookout 400
Yeah.
next week from Martinsville. That game or that race is at 3:00 on Fox Sports 1, and then IndyCar.
Yeah.
I don't have any results, but all I know from my TV nerd news is that they lost their TV coverage there for about 40 minutes yesterday on Fox, and the IndyCar fans got to watch a little NASCAR. And
They were.
they were not very happy on the internet. I'm not sure why. It's still racing, and just be lucky you can see something.
Yeah, but
anyway,
they like to see the wheels.
Yeah.
Those people like
Whatever.
to see the wheels.
All right. So real quick, golfing. You got any golf and tennis news for us, real quick?
Well, nothing in the tennis world, but the golf is all leading up to the Masters. So a number of the real top-notch players are either taking vacation or just practicing for the Masters. Tiger Woods had an operation. He will not play in the Masters.
Achilles.
They played the Valspar Open this week, and the Valspar Open was played down in Palm Harbor, Florida. They've been playing in Florida, and Norway's Victor Hovland, if you remember him.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
He's a young Norwegian. He's 25. He went to Oklahoma State, played on their golf team. He edged out Justin Thomas on the last few holes. I think he birdied 3 of his of the last 5 holes to win. And this was his first U.S. PGA win in quite a while. He's won 5 of them, but Thomas has won about 12 of them, so it wasn't a big tournament. I think the total purse was a little over $8 million, which compared to the players, which was up in the 20s.
24, 25.
So anyway, next week they play the Houston Open, then they play the Texas Open, and then the Masters.
There you go.
The Masters.
Get to it sooner or later.
A tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS. All right. Really, just a couple of notes on my end. We were talking about Caitlin Clark and the Caitlin Clark effect. WNBA released their television schedule for the upcoming season, and for the first time ever, they will have 2 primetime broadcasts on one of the big 3 television networks. Wow. CBS will be broadcasting on June 7th a Caitlin Clark game on actual big CBS for the first time ever.
Wow.
They have 13 games on ABC,
Oh my gosh.
8 games on CBS, 13 games on ESPN. They're making money now. CBS Sports Network with 12. They're doing the Friday night doubleheaders on the Ion channel this year, so they've got 50 games.
Wow.
And then if you subscribe to NBA TV, you get 40 extra games and 21 games on Prime Video.
Holy smokes.
And according to this article I'm looking at right now, they're having 20 games on Meta platforms, whatever the heck that means. Yeah. So Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and all of these ladies are making a difference for little girls around the country, and now they'll actually be able to see a sport that they can play.
You see a lot of kids with shirts with 21 on it.
Yep.
There you go. There you go.
And then,
Incidentally, you put out the bracket in both of the main areas. Did we get many people filling them up?
I have not checked yet. I'm going to check this morning, and then Next week we'll have an announcement on if there's any leaders or losers in that. And then, like I said, fill out a bracket. It's not too late. You can even use last weekend's scores. We're not gonna know. And then if you win the bracket challenge, you can have a spot right here on Sports Guys
There you go.
or Sports Gals, whichever you
Oh,
prefer.
yes.
Don't call me Sally. So real quick, also the Tigers will be simulcast on Fox 2 a bunch this year. Opening day, as usual, will be on I think it's Channel 9 here at the Village is
Yeah.
Fox 2. So Friday, April 4th, the Tigers take on the White Sox at 1:10. Like I said, I'll be there to cover it, and I'll report back here on Sports Guys. April 15th, the Tigers take on the Brewers at 7:40. That game will be on Channel 9. And then a bunch of other dates that we will get you. But there's about 10 games that are going to be on actual television here at the Village. And then throughout the season, most day games we will have broadcast in Windows Cafe for you.
Nice.
What about the announcers? Tell me about them.
Jason Benetti is back this year.
Because he's by the Tigers.
So I'm not sure what I can say. Every announcer, I believe now, for the Red Wings and the Tigers are both employed by their teams.
Okay.
FanDuel only employs some of the pre and post game hosts.
Okay.
So yes, Jason Benetti's back. He will be teamed with most of the time Andy Dirks. Some of the time he will be with Peaches. Dan
okay.
Petrie. And then they will switch off on the Tigers live set. And with radio, Dan Dickerson will be with Bobby Scales some of the time, Andy Dirks some of the time. And then mostly on the weekends when Jason Benetti is doing national work for Fox, Dan Dickerson will move over to TV.
Okay.
And then they will bring up the announcer from the Erie,
Laker?
from the Lake Erie team, and he will do radio for the Tigers, which he did a really good job at last year. So we're getting ready to go for spring sports are underway. I know high school basketball just wrapped up over the weekend. High school softball is getting underway in the next couple of weeks, along with baseball, track and field, and all of that fun stuff. So
Cool.
So it's getting warmer. I mean, not
It
right
is?
now. It's 37 as we sit here at 8:49 on Monday. But yeah, But like Rod said before we came on the air, it was 70 on the first day of winter, and it was what
23.
23 on the first day of spring last week. So Mother Nature, she's great.
Watch that word.
And on that note, we'll wrap it up for Sports Guys for this week. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Christy Emmons, and we will see you all next week. Fill out your brackets. Win a chance to talk with us here on the air. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye now.
Have a great day.
Care.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pete Krupski, the voice of USA Hockey's National Team Development Program. You're watching CTV Sports.